Swagger is like a modernization of roots reggae, in a way, trying to preserve the spirit of that kind of music, and yeah, making a version that represents me culturally, you know. Um, Usually when you listen to modern reggae these days, it's kind of dancehall. So dancehall is like what Jean Paul does, and stuff like that, which is almost a bit closer to R&B and hip hop than it is to original reggae music. So this is the attempt to basically, you know, modernize roots reggae music. Yeah, and also create music that's in my, you know, cultural environment. Because the thing is, you know, everyone always asks me, okay, what it is that I'm doing, because I kind of like many things in music, and I do a bit of folk, blues, soul, you know, I have Afrobeat influences, all these things. So I thought, you know, maybe it's better to give it a new name than try really hard to describe it, you know. So I just call it swaggy, and I guess the best way to describe swaggy is to listen to it. And yeah. I mean, there's some good ones. You know, it's kind of like Star Wars. You have the Force, you know, and you have the good side and the dark side of the Force, like the light side and the dark side. Both are very powerful. It's just what you choose to do with it. You know, many artists who are very talented choose to basically spread messages that are not necessarily very positive, you know, or choose to basically just you know, celebrate themselves and their egos, you know. Um, and I chose to not only do that. I mean, maybe a bit sometimes, not really, but like to have to kind of submit to a higher truth, something a bit, you know, higher values, morals, integrity, all that kind of stuff. You know, like those big words that don't mean anything unless you actually live them. You know, and so yeah, my music is not driven by you know, commercial aspects, or by you know, just trying to please people. You know, of course I want to have a good time with everybody. I enjoy sharing, you know, but I'm trying to convey a message, you know, a message that's very positive and constructive, and close to life and my nature basically, which we all grow. So my music is supposed to promote growth and inspire people, change in people, all that, you know. So I guess I'm not sure in what way that makes me different from others, but that's what I am, what I'm about, you know. It means a lot to me because I'm not an artist that's just made by the industry, you know. Like, you know, there's artists that are completely, you know, constructed and engineered, you know, and put out there, and you know, they're played on all the major radios and medias and all the time until you have to like them. And it's like my music kind of grew organically, you know, from the people. Like my first EP Lions came out, and it was just meant to be a promotional CD, really, just to give to press people, and so or if I wanted to play concerts, to give it to someone, and then they can have an idea of what I'm about. But it got so popular just through word of mouth, you know, and especially France and other places in Europe, that that yeah, it became this sensation, you know, like. And this is just to say that the fans kind of built me, you know, and it's really, they are the only ones yeah, I care about when it comes to my music, because obviously the industry, you know, they have something to say when you give them the album. You can say, well, we're gonna bring it out or not, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. For me, it's like, this is what it is. Take it or leave it. If they don't like it, that's okay. If the fans don't like it, it's a different story. I might actually listen and be like, why? You know. So what I'm trying to say is, they built me, and without them, I wouldn't be here. So I guess many artists say this, but in my case, it's really true. Like, yeah. I think it's good. You know, I think digital can be really good once it's used the right way. You know, because for me everything has to have quality. You know, you cannot compromise quality just for the sake of being quick and cheap. You know, so you can do things digitally that are that have a lot of quality if you really want to, and especially when you come from a culture of analog recording, you can make a digital recording sound very good because you know how it can sound. So you're trying your best to get as close to that as you can. I think what's really good about digital is that music can become immediate again. Usually back then, when your record is finished, you give it to a record label and it takes another 3 months or something, or 2, for them to put it out, you know, and yeah, it takes another even longer for the people to really hear about it and also sort of stuff. Whereas digital, you can basically say today something happens, like, I don't know, you know, the Dixie toilet explodes, and you write a song, and then say everyone kind of knows about the event, and so they can relate to it right then. It's closer to life, to everyday events that are happening, which I like a lot about Jamaican music. It's always been the case in Jamaica, you know, like something happened, they recorded a song, next day it was on the radio. So I really appreciate this about digital. I also appreciate the fact that you can be really direct. There's really direct contact with the fans and the supporters, the listeners, and so you can kind of almost there's more of an interaction about the music, you know, not an interaction that's delayed, but like an immediate interaction, which is great. And the bad side is that it's a bit like, because people put out so much music as a consequence, you know, I think there's too much music, and so it's like inflation. It brings the overall value of music down, and people don't have the same appreciation for it because they have 20,000 songs in the iPod, you know. So it's like next, you know, it's not as valuable as before when you had a vinyl, you opened it and it's like, oh wow, it's the new, I don't know, Bob Marley Exodus or whatever. So yeah, so but I'm trying to work on it, and basically what happens is music used to be an event, like people came to concerts, left with the experience, and were like, yeah, I had a great moment. Then the vinyl or recording, whatever, got invented, and so the first person came to a concert and said, okay, cool, I can actually record this and make it a product and then sell it to people so they can take it home with them and have this experience at home. And now I think it's just going back to where it was, which is music becoming more and more of an event again, you know, because everyone can have it at home. So now it's more about the concerts and the events, the experience that you pass in a concert hall, or you know, the direct experience with the artist through his website and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just a friend of mine, you know, a very good friend. Like, we always exchange ideas, you know. He kind of explains to me the camera, I explain to him the guitar. That's our deal, you know. So even way before we were doing this, like, our things together, we were just talking about art and the world and what we felt was right and wrong, you know. And so because he values my opinion in music, he asks me what do I think about this or that, and the same goes for visual. You know, I value his opinion, so I asked him what he thought, and then somehow it developed like that, and then we decided to do this one together, and yeah, it was quite organic. Yeah, to me, life is kind of an experiment. So I try different things. My father was a director, so I've always been like, you know, he was a writer and director, so I've always been kind of intrigued by directing and writing. So actually I just did a newspaper as well, like for one of my events, where with a lot of writers and stuff. And also I did this short movie, which I haven't edited yet, but we shot it in Freetown, Sierra Leone. It's about basically a person confronted with his fears that are personified by this gang that is chasing him, and it's about him having to face his fears, you know, and to embrace them. And it's going to be called The Rising of the Sun as in SON, and it's going to introduce the new album, you know, and it's about, it's about you know, resurrection, birth, new day, morning, spring. That's kind of the energy, like growth, like, you know, beginning of something good. And it's me trying to be a director kind of thing. People should want to do music for the right reasons, you know? If you want to do music because you want to do music, because it comes from the inside, then that's great. Then you should do music. If it's because you like the idea of being famous or like, you know, being admired by many people, you can still do music. There's many of them as well, but those are the artists that, like, I'm not part of, you know? They're like, they do it for a different reason. So it's about integrity, and if you have that true urge in you to make music, then nothing can stop you. You should actually believe in it, regardless whether you win the contest or you lose, or everyone boos you or not. You know, I played concerts when people were turned with their backs to me, you know, or like people didn't understand what I was trying to do, and I had this confidence, you know. I always had this crazy confidence, even when it was actually not justified, you know, because I wasn't very good. It's like I still had it, you know, at a very young age, and that's kind of what drove me. I always believed in it very, very much, and so I can only encourage people to have that same confidence. Well, it's something my sister did. It's like it's the word impossible, but after the I there's an apostrophe, so it makes it into I'm possible. So it's kind of, we change the word into something positive. It's to do with an association that we have, you know, working with young kids, kind of, and again, you know, we don't believe in can't, you know. I think the human being is the greatest resource, you know, and we can pretty much be or become everything we want to be if we truly want it, you know, like from within. Then no problem. And if you see that in people, I think it should be encouraged and it should be nurtured. Yeah. There goes another one. Bless his soul. There goes another one. Yeah, all Africans. There goes another one. Bless his soul.